just a conviction, because I think that it was operating from a spirit of like scarcity and trying to rush God's plan, trying to rush myself out of the season of isolation, and trying to kind of like how Sarah and Abraham, tried to make God's promise come to pass in their own way. That's kind of what I was doing. Well, God said I'm gonna have a baby, but I'm too old. So maybe he meant if we get her pregnant and she give us a baby, that's how we'll get a baby. Maybe that's how. And it's like, that's not what God was talking about. He wanted you to have the baby. He wanted you to see that your age and your body and your womb could be restored through him. And if he wanted it to happen, it would come to pass, because he's in control of all of this. But instead, I was trying to find a shortcut to the promise.
Level up loading. Level up loading. Up. Level up loading.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Level Up Loading by Feelings Face Facts with yours truly, Shay.
Hey!
So we are experiencing a little cold front here in Nashville, and I'm from Chicago, it's not a big deal, but also I did not move here for cold weather, okay? So it seems like ever since I moved here, it's been cold every single year, at least for a little bit. So I wanted to pop in. This episode is going to be a little bit different, and hopefully and prayerfully it's going to be quick, but still maybe something relatable to someone. Something that I recently got a lot of conviction about was the fact that a lot of the friendships that I've had, thank the Lord, I'm so blessed to have met the people that I have. I'm so blessed, even the people who have come into my life and gone on separate directions, separate ways, separate directions, all that stuff. I'm very, very blessed to have met them, and I pray that in some way, shape, or form that I was a blessing to them as well. However, one thing that is a common thing with me is that I meet amazing people through a person, and I don't see a reason, just because I don't talk to that person anymore, I don't feel compelled to release the other amazing people that I met. And I don't ever want people to think like I'm trying to steal their friends, or that I'm just, collecting their people or whatever. But I know the value of finding good people. I know the value and the rarity of finding genuine people who you connect with and who you bond with and who actually have value to add into your life or have a good intention for you. So when I do meet them, regardless of who I met them from, I am not quick to just discard them just because my season has ended with the original person. So for instance, like even people who I've talked to romantically, like I still am friends with their family. That sounds so petty, I know. I'm still friends with their family. Let's just keep it real. I'm still friends with their family. Friends who I've disconnected with, I still have a somewhat of a connection with their family and friends. And it sucks because I don't want to be, imposing on other people's friend groups, you know what I mean? But I also am not like super gun-ho on discarding good people. God places people in your life for a reason and a season, and for me to have had a season with one person doesn't mean that there's not a reason for the next people, that might be still connected to them. I don't know how people feel about that. I've seen different things like on Facebook and TikTok about people saying like, once I'm done talking to you, you just stop talking to everybody I know. And I get it. I'm wondering how I would feel if it were done on the flip side to me. And I've actually experienced it, but it didn't bother me. So I guess maybe that's why I don't see a problem with it, because it's like, okay, y'all have a connection. Ours ended. Doesn't mean that yours necessarily has to, but I don't know. I just guess I wasn't really bothered by it. So I set boundaries in that situation, and I left it at that. Like, hey, if you want to keep talking to them, keep talking to them. But as far as me and the things that's going on with me, don't discuss it. Don't bring me up. Let y'all relationship be y'all relationship and keep it separate. And I have no problem with it. And if you can let me know if that person's going to be around, that would be helpful. But at the end of the day, I'm not ducking anybody. I'm not, hiding from anybody or any of those things. So I guess maybe that's why I don't see any wrong in it, because it's something that has been done to me and I didn't feel a way about it. If you made a connection, you made a connection. But, some people feel differently. Whatevs. So this episode is about a situation where I was recently trying to connect with a group of young ladies, and I just felt conviction about it. Like, it was just different. It wasn't genuine in the sense of, like, in the past I met people, I liked them, and I've connected with them, and I've said, hey, just because me and such isn't cool, I still want to be cool with you. I'm still okay with it. If you're okay with it, if you're not, okay, fine, but I don't have no bad blood with you. It got nothing to do with you. You good, so you let me know how you want to proceed. That's how I kind of handled it. But in this case, it was just kind of like me trying to put myself in a circle that just wasn't mine. And I think that it was still a good circle. It was a great circle of women. No shade to the women whatsoever. The women were awesome, beautiful, amazing women of God. So please, I'm not trying to say that. But it was just a conviction, because I think that it was operating from a spirit of, like, scarcity and trying to rush God's plan, trying to rush myself out of the season of isolation, and trying to kind of, like how Sarah and Abraham, tried to make God's promise come to pass in their own way. That's kind of what I was doing. Like, God said I was going to have a tribe of women around me, and I got invited to this, so let me make this my tribe of women. Like, okay, my friend is inviting me to this group of women. They're all, different varying levels of God-fearing. So that's amazing. I love that type of environment. And I saw it through for quite some time, but I really, really, really could feel the conviction at the beginning of this year. Not the beginning of this year, the beginning of last year, I kind of started to feel that conviction of, like, you're in good spaces, and there's nothing wrong per se with what you're doing, but you're technically not in alignment, and you're technically trying to play God. You're trying to move my hand, and I didn't say go yet. Like, don't trust me to give you your own group of people. Don't trust me to bring women into your life who are in your proximity that you can actually have a sisterhood with. And don't get me wrong, parasocially, sisterhood is great. I pray and hope that this platform evolves to be able to, over the internet, combine us together and join us together, because we are sisters and brothers in Christ, But what I had been praying for, and what I know that the Lord had kind of shown me that was in my future at some point, was women near me. And I'm not trying to be offensive to the women who were amazing to me online, but they couldn't give me a hug. You know what I mean? They could pray for me. They could speak words of encouragement, words of knowledge, words of rebuke, all of the great, amazing things that come with the sisterhood of long distance, But God was really showing me, like, or just convicting me. The Holy Spirit was convicting me, like, okay, you pray for this, but you're settling for this. And I don't want to say settling, because it was amazing and I learned a lot of things. But I was investing a lot of time. I was investing time, and I was investing energy into it, and I didn't have complete peace about it. I didn't feel the peace that comes with being somewhere that is ordained, being somewhere where God has actually called me and fit me there. I'm used to a certain level of peace, and it was fun, and I enjoyed our conversations, and I enjoyed our prayers, and I enjoyed just being able to bounce things off of other women who actually read their Bible and actually live and try their best to walk the walk and are going through the same things. As much as I loved that and I valued that, I need community that is here. I need friends that can hold my hand. I need friends who hand I can hold. I need friends who can meet up for Bible study and we sit across from each other and have it, and we bounce ideas off of it, and we actually get a chance to be in each other's presence and invite the Holy Spirit into the rooms that I'm in. And though I did have those experiences in a internet type of way, I just really knew that I was not being true to what I really wanted, and that I was trying to make it come quicker. So instead of me waiting for the Lord to reveal my own tribe of women and reveal my own calling or my own group, I was trying to fit myself into a ready-made situation. So I was basically trying to get my servant pregnant, you know what I mean? Like using that analogy of Abraham and Sarah. Like, well, God said I'm gonna have a baby, but I'm too old. So maybe he meant if we get her pregnant and she give us a baby, that's how we'll get a baby. You know, maybe that's how. And it's like, that's not what God was talking about. He wanted you to have the baby. He wanted you to see that your age and your body and your womb could be restored through him. And if he wanted it to happen, it would come to pass because he is in control of all of this. But instead, I was trying to find a shortcut to the promise. And it sucks because I do truly love those women. We had some deep conversations, some good conversations, great Bible study and things like that. But in this year of 2025, I really want to work on cultivating in-person relationships with fellow brothers and sisters who can pour into me in a real way, who I can call if I lock myself out the house and I can't go anywhere. I need to have access to someone, you know what I mean? And it's nice to have women all over the globe in different places and areas, but when it comes to needing that in person and that community that's around, that's just something that I'm going to be really looking forward to in 2025 and embracing, because it's been a while since I've had like close-knit friends where the relationship wasn't revolved around us partying or drinking or, you know, just being heathens. And like I said, I have friends here, you know, I do. I'm not trying to say I don't have friends here, but we're all walking different paths. And some of them are embracing their walk with the Lord and some of them aren't. But we're all in different parts of the city. We're all spread out to far suburbs and all type of different places, and that lane is more so for poetry. It's not necessarily people who are all completely believers, you know, or they may be battling with their walk, and nothing wrong with that. But right now there are times for evangelism, there's time for fellowship, and there's time for like actual discipleship and an actual, you know, iron sharpening iron type of situation. And yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. Mighty women of God that are in my proximity that I can call, meet up with, actually, you know, commune and fellowship with, and not only be an encouragement, but have them to encourage back, not only for me to fill up their cup, for them to pour back into mine as well. And I just need to be patient and stop trying to force it. And also, faith without works is dead. So while I am believing God for that, I need to actively find spaces where I can meet the type of women that I am trying to meet. There's nothing wrong with beautiful women of God in different varying levels, you know, finding their way. This is all a journey that we're all on. We have to find our way. Baby steps are better than no steps, you know, but I also have to just be honest and true that I need people that are ready to like go all in, because the people who are around you are going to be a representation of who you are. And I'm not trying to half step, I'm not trying to lukewarm it, I'm not trying to do none of that. So I need people ready to go all in, even in the parts that make them uncomfortable, even in the parts that make them sad, even in the parts that make them feel lonely, all of that, you know. So yeah, I don't know, but I wanted to come on here just to really say, like, if you are in a season where God has promised you something, and it doesn't have to necessarily be this exact scenario, it could be something else, but if God has promised you something and you feel yourself trying to take the reins, you need to be still and know that He is God. I'm saying that to you and I'm saying that to me. Be still and know that He is God, because we're trying to do stuff, and what we wind up doing is messing it up or adding in steps of things that God didn't even necessarily need us to go through. through, have us experiencing rejection or feelings of anxiety in situations that we weren't even called to because we were rushing the process instead of allowing him to do his work. Making sure that we're being obedient and in alignment and in prayer and fasted and, in spaces where we can be found by the people who we're looking for, but also trusting that he's going to do it when the time is right. He will make it happen. Instead of us trying to force it. It's like, oh, that girl has a Bible. That must be who God is sending me. Meanwhile, this girl, the Bible is a cutout of where she hides her liquor while she's walking down the street so the police won't bother her. Or, she has a cross chain, and inside of it is her drug of choice that she just opens up when she goes in the bathroom. You don't want to just go off appearances. We have to know that we will know them by their fruit. And so if I'm at all exuding any level of desperation or scarcity when it comes to the things that God has promised me, then I am really welcoming and setting myself up for a counterfeit attack. And we all know that the enemy loves to send counterfeits in place of what God has for us because it leaves us vulnerable and hurt and untrusting, and it hardens our heart. So that the time when God actually does want to release those blessings to us, we don't want to recognize them, or we're too gun shy to even pull, I don't want to say pull the trigger, but you know what I mean? Like, we're just too gun shy about it because we got hurt the last time, but we weren't even supposed to be going through the situation the last time. We made ourselves go through that situation because we entertained the counterfeit and we allowed our desperation and our scarcity and our lack to push us into situations that we were never supposed to be in the first place. So I hope that this little choppy story was maybe helpful to you, and maybe you can relate. You guys can definitely get down in the comments and let me know if you've ever done this, if you've ever experienced anything similar, or what is your situation where you might have tried to force God's hand and force something that he promised you to happen before it was really time, and you got hurt by it, because that's the end result. That's the common denominator, is you get hurt by it. But yeah, let me know about a time that you experienced a counterfeit or that you tried to debo your way into a blessing. And for the women, the beautiful women that I did encounter, please do not take this as shade. You guys are lovely. I love you guys. You're awesome, and there will be times where I will pop back up and show you guys love. I promise you, because for one, my friend is in the group and she does amazing things with you guys, but also just because you guys are awesome. You guys do amazing work, and I am so happy to see the women of God is just being bold and growing together. And I pray that this year brings you guys more increase, and maybe once I do find my people, can combine those and collaborate and join forces at times. But for now, I really just want to focus on finding what God has for me and stop trying to attach myself to somebody else's blessings. And you guys are blessings to my friend. So I thank you for being kind and welcoming to her, and also for being kind and welcoming to me. And I pray that this year is everything that you hope for. So on that note, I am going to call this episode 1. You guys have a good one. I will see you on the next one. Bye.